Recreational and Drinking Water Quality Assessment in Venice, Florida by Susanna Sutton. My goals for my research paper were to describe the past water quality of Venice, Florida using data from the Florida Department of Health and the City of Venice records. I also wanted to look at how recreational peak times impact water quality. This would mainly be for focusing on snowbird season, which is the months of November through April. I also wanted to describe how water quality issues impact the sustainability of our area for future generations. So I had a few hypotheses for my paper. The first one was that water quality in Venice, Florida has been managed and monitored in an efficient way for recreational water. The second one was that drinking water quality is not monitored close enough for certain contaminants. The third one was that I believe that saltwater intrusion will affect local water soon due to global warming. And the fourth one was that I think that recreational water quality in peak tourist seasons will end up correlating, and that peak tourist season will, in fact, impact our recreational water quality. So moving into the discussion, so this first slide is about recreational water quality. My first hypothesis is that recreational water quality in Venice, Florida has been managed and monitored in an efficient way. That was one of my hypotheses, and through analyzing water quality data provided by the Florida Department of Health, I found that this ended up being correct. The city takes measurements once a week. They did while for the information I analyzed, and to this day it's just not published yet. But someone goes out weekly and takes a water sample, and I noticed through the data that if there was a level of enterococci bacteria that was higher than normal and just didn't seem to be with the status quo of levels, that they went out and took another sample the next day. And if it was still high, they would come out the next day and take a sample until the water level seemed back to normal. So recreational water quality continued. On the right here, this map was something I compiled on Arcus Online. It shows different pipes, streams, and channels in the area. So the grayed out area is actually the boundaries of the Floridan Aquifer that is local to Sarasota County. It's a large aquifer and is not just found here, but the grayed in parts is where it's found in our county. And we do get our water from it, just in different areas in the actual aquifer. So as you can see, there are a lot of pipes and weirs that are right here's the intercoastal, and a lot of them are right there on the intercoastal waterway, which is right on the Gulf of Mexico, and the different beaches. The beach that's here, Venice Beach, is the one that I focused on because it does have a lot of upstream sources where water comes out of into the water that could be contaminated. So this is the area that I based the results on. I did look at the water quality for Nokomis Beach, which is found right about here. And I glanced over some of the data from the other beaches along here whose water quality is also monitored by Sarasota County and the Florida Department of Health, just to see if there are any differences or anything. And through looking at it, it was all about the same, unless there was like a certain sewage pipe that had been damaged through construction and made levels high for a certain area rather than for Venice. But this is the area that I focused on. So, recreational water quality continued. I found, although there's not any outfall pipes, which is what I just zoomed up on, that are directly on the beaches, they do drain into the Intracoastal Waterway, which flows straight to them. And the Intracoastal Waterway, as was shown, lies on the boundary of the watershed that we receive some of our drinking water from. So again, it was from that grayed out area. The Intracoastal's right on that. And within the boundaries of the watershed, there are multiple drainage ditches, outfall pipes, and drains that are located within, and these go directly into the ground. Some go into local water bodies. And what's really alarming is that there are a lot of golf courses in the city of Venice, and that's not even looking at golf courses that are in Sarasota County as a whole. That's just in Venice. And there's a large one that's right off of Venice Beach, and all that's separating it from the beach is a small road and a small drainage lake. And the drainage lake has a canal that leads straight to the beach, that goes under a bridge that the road goes over. So the golf course drains straight into the ocean, essentially, which is alarming, knowing that golf courses have a lot of pesticides that are used on them to keep the grass nice. This slide will be on how tourism and recreational water quality are related. As I said earlier, the months of November through April are considered peak snowbird season. I did not finish this slide yet. I have to do an average of the interrocky levels in the two sets of November through April and then May through October, and see if there's a difference, what the difference is, and how big it is. And then I'll write a short analysis. Drinking water quality. The contaminants tested for in the drinking water supply varied by the year. The areas from which we source our drinking water also vary. And the areas are coastal and are therefore susceptible to saltwater intrusion. And the sources listed have different treatment levels and systems in place, which I thought was interesting because I just assumed before this that our water came from one main place and that all of the levels in the area for treatment would all go through the same level of treatment. And something that I found interesting through my analysis was that in 2019, in the drinking water quality report, levels of copper and lead in tap water had not been measured since the 2017 report. Drinking water quality continued. This graph I made shows the annual high and low sodium levels present in drinking water for Sarasota County. In 2015, sodium levels weren't recorded for some reason, which is why you see the steep drop there. The high levels tended to stay high from 67 to 86, and the low levels tend to stay in a varied range of 15 to 30. The lowest low was 15, and the highest high was 86, which is a large variance in levels. Something I did notice was that each year from 2018 to 2020, more water was taken from the Peace River area. The water quality report for 2021 and 2022 have not been published yet. That's why they're not included in this analysis. In closing, I covered my 4 hypotheses. Water quality in Venice, Florida has been managed and monitored in an efficient way for recreational water. Drinking water quality is not monitored close enough for certain contaminants. That was highlighted by the lead not being reported for 2 years and missing a year of not reporting the sodium levels. My third hypothesis was that I believe that saltwater intrusion will affect local waters soon due to global warming. That was evidenced by the sodium level highs getting higher and higher as time goes on. And my fourth hypothesis is that I think that recreational water quality and peak tourist seasons will correlate. These are my sources. Thank you.